to get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring. For good.
I'm getting deja vu right now because I could have swore that I made this exact video 1 year ago today on February 1st, 2022. Because I did, because we're getting the same announcement again. And that's not to take away from the significance of it, but I have to admit there's a part of me that's feeling a little skeptical about this news, and I think rightfully so. Before we get to honoring the greatest player of all time, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. This is our third upload in a 24-hour span. Now that we get all that out of the way, work! Usually when this happens, we all make bank. PrizePicks is hooking us up for the Super Bowl with a free square from Patrick Mahomes, which means Mahomes just needs one passing yard in order for his square to convert. So all you have to do if you want to join is go to the link in the description down below, download PrizePicks, and use my promo code Mikerophone so they can match up to $100 of your deposit. And once you're done with that, make these picks. Obviously, you should go with the Patrick Mahomes 0.5 passing yards and click more. Once you're done with that, one of my sleepers is going to be Kenneth Gainwell, who has been a monster throughout the playoffs for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he just needs to get higher than 21.5 rush yards. So we're going to click more there, and if Kenneth Gainwell gets more than 21.5 rush yards, you could 3x your money. Now, if you feel really good about this, you could also add Travis Kelce scoring 1 touchdown, and if both of these hit, you 5x your money. I play PrizePicks each and every day, and I post my picks to my story on Instagram, so make sure you're following me there if you want to see my picks on a daily basis. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? In the spring of 2019, Tom Brady would throw his final pass as a member of the New England Patriots, famously a pick 6 to the Tennessee Titans, which he would actually sign for Logan Ryan after. This would conclude a season where you can make the argument that Tom Brady didn't look like the same version of himself anymore. He threw for 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He still threw over 4,000 passing yards, but he only completed 61% of his throws. Considering that he was 42 years old at this point, you could make a very legitimate argument that it was time for Tom Brady to retire. But there was a remarkable opportunity in front of Tom Brady, one that he couldn't pass up. The opportunity to leave the New England Patriots and leave Bill Belichick and enter free agency for the first time in his career. During an offseason in the middle of a pandemic, Tom Brady decided to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this was a very monumental moment for him and also this YouTube channel because we actually made our video on him 1 day earlier. Yeah, this channel was only 2 months old at the time. We were doing anything to get relevance at that point, and luckily for us, we hit on our prediction perfectly, because 1 day after we made our video, Tom Brady would make his announcement. No, it's not something I would ever do again, but I digress. Tom Brady would join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and would have to face the challenges of trying to learn a brand new playbook and become acclimated to new teammates in the midst of a pandemic, and he would succeed remarkably. As a matter of fact, he would use this to his advantage. After luring players like Rob Gronkowski over, acquiring players like Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown in the middle of the season, Tom Brady would lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all the way to the Super Bowl, this time throwing for 40 touchdowns, over 4,600 passing yards, and only 12 interceptions. Tampa Bay would win the Super Bowl in Tom Brady's first full season under center. You would think at this point he would feel like he's proven everything that he needs to prove, that he is the greatest football player of all time, the king of situational football, and most importantly, he didn't need the New England Patriots or Bill Belichick to win. But that competitive fire inside him still kept burning, and considering the fact that his team was good enough to win a Super Bowl, he probably thought to himself that, hey, maybe I could win another one. After all, I'm having a lot of fun in Tampa Bay. He would return in 2021, and he would put up his most prolific season ever, completing 67% of his passes for 5,300 passing yards and leading Tampa Bay to their best season during the Tom Brady era, winning 13 games and only losing 4. But the wheels started falling off the wagon towards the end of the season. A good example is when Antonio Brown famously stormed off of the field just 2 weeks before the season ended against the New York Jets. And despite all the distractions, Tom Brady still had a very impressive playoff run that could have potentially succeeded, as he was very close to coming back against the eventual Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round, but ultimately he would fail. Following this, there were questions about whether or not Tom Brady would return, and ultimately he would put those to bed on February 1st, 2022, announcing his retirement from the NFL. And at this point, we were all saying the same thing. It makes sense. It's not like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are providing this incredible opportunity to win a Super Bowl anymore. They have a lot of key free agents. Some members of their offensive line might leave, and a key member of their offensive line actually retired, Ali Marpet. Despite this, Tom Brady would change his mind right before free agency, which would give the Buccaneers enough time to potentially retain their free agents for hopefully another successful year during the Tom Brady era. But I feel like at this point, it was just way too much changes in way too short of a time. Bruce Arians retired, so Todd Bowles took over. Byron Leftwich turned down an offer from the Jacksonville Jaguars that ultimately ended up ruining his career, and it ended up being the wrong decision for him because he would get fired this offseason as offensive coordinator. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wouldn't be nearly as strong on defense or on offense, and they had to deal with injuries all season long. But on top of that, Tom Brady was dealing with so much crippling anxiety from his personal issues, his divorce from his wife, Gisele Bündchen, while also trying to motivate a team that clearly didn't seem motivated enough to compete. I mean, just look at this footage of him trying to motivate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and look at how the worst offensive lineman on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Donovan Smith, reacts.
Gotta go fight. It ain't gonna be any easier all day. Right? Just go slug it out.
This is the stuff that Tom Brady was dealing with all season long. Now, originally it was a foregone conclusion that no matter what happens this season, Tom Brady was very likely to return to the NFL and join another team, primarily because he's already sacrificed so much to play this last season. I mean, whenever you divorce your wife just to play an 8 and 9 season over the fact that you are refusing to retire, at least reportedly, one would assume that you're going to ride this out a little bit longer, especially if you have the opportunity to become a free agent, especially following an offseason where there were rumors about you joining the Miami Dolphins as a part owner. But reality must have hit Tom Brady like a truck following the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wildcard exit versus the Dallas Cowboys, because he gave this interview following that game, made it sound like he was going to leave.
I just want to say thank you guys for everything this year. I really appreciate all your effort, and I know it's hard for you guys too. It's hard for us players to make it through, and I love this organization. It's a great place to be, and thank you everybody for welcoming me. All you regulars, just very grateful for the respect, and I hope I gave the same thing back to you guys. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I mean, this interview was so emotional that even Josh Allen felt like there was a good chance that he'd retire, because that was way too sentimental of a goodbye.
When it happened last year and he retired, I told people I'll believe it when he's not playing the first game. But the way that he talked in his press conference last night just kind of was like, it seemed a little too sentimental for my liking in terms of, holding on to the belief that he's going to continue to play. But we'll see. It's up to him and the people in his life around him and how he's going to take that decision into his own hands. But I know there's going to be teams calling.
Regardless, we all started to speculate, where could Tom Brady go? And this is where I started to get a hunch that there was a chance that he could retire. Although I didn't want to jump into conclusions soon, because I was a firm believer that he sacrificed so much to have the ability to continue playing football. I mean, you saw a video of him looking at a Miami school with his son. You had rumors of him potentially going to Las Vegas to reunite with Josh McDaniels, especially after the Raiders decided to move on from Derek Carr. There were rumors that he could go to Tennessee to reunite with his ex-teammate Mike Vrabel. My personal belief was there was a chance he could go to the New York Jets for a year, but once it seemed like it made more sense for Aaron Rodgers to be traded to the Jets, I guess that was written off. And right before today, my belief was the most likely team he could potentially join would be the San Francisco 49ers, primarily because it's close to home. It was his favorite team during childhood, and there's no doubt in my mind that he would be what they would need in order to win a Super Bowl. But it seems like none of that is going to happen, because Tom Brady posted this onto all of his social accounts today, officially announcing his retirement.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. Like, you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
At the same time, I can't necessarily blame the man for retiring, because he still has that 10-year, $375 million contract to commentate for Fox, which, by the way, I feel some empathy towards Greg Olsen, because he's going to be taking Greg Olsen's job, and it doesn't seem like Greg Olsen's very excited about that either.
It is what it is, right? I mean, I get it. And when, you have a chance to do something with Tom Brady, you have to at least pursue it and take a shot at it. Comes in to take your job, fine. Bench me, but I'm going to make it hard as on you to bench me. Fox, I hope I work with them for the next 20 years. I just hope it's with the A crew.
At the end of the day, I firmly believe this is the right move for Tom Brady. He could have retired last year and I would have said the same thing. Hell, he could have retired 2 years ago after winning the Super Bowl and I would have said the same thing. There's no player that has achieved more or had greater longevity in NFL history than Tom Brady. I would typically root against him, but the whole idea of a player that was drafted in the 6th round of the NFL draft coming in and taking over for a former #1 overall pick, leading his team to multiple Super Bowls, winning more Super Bowls than any NFL team in NFL history, is truly a remarkable story that we should cherish forever. I think he's making the right decision here, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if he changed his mind. I mean, if you look at my latest tweet, I wouldn't be shocked if like the day before free agency he comes in and changes his mind and decides to enter free agency based upon how everything goes over the offseason. But we have a long time until then. At the end of the day, I think this man deserves to spend some time with his family and enjoy life after football. It's a very dangerous sport, and playing at the age of 46 just doesn't sound like a good idea, even though he clearly has the ability to do so. Bear in mind, he's had the most pass attempts of his entire career this past year. So clearly he still has enough left in the tank to lead a football team. I don't even think he's entered his 2015 Peyton Manning year yet, where he inserted into a heavy zone read offense just to make reads for the team, because he clearly still could launch that thing if he wanted to. At the end of the day, I think this is what was best for him, and throughout his 23 season career, he's a 7-time Super Bowl champion, a 5-time Super Bowl MVP, a 3-time league MVP, leads the NFL all-time in regular season passing yards, regular season touchdowns, and playoff passing yards and playoff touchdowns. In his 20s, he threw 21,564 passing yards, 147 passing TDs, and had 3 Super Bowl victories. In his 30s, he threw for 40,018 passing yards, 309 passing touchdowns, and 2 Super Bowl victories. And in his 40s, he threw for 27,632 passing yards, 193 passing touchdowns, and had 2 Super Bowl wins. His resume could be a Hall of Fame resume in each and every decade. Now, as for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what I think their future is going to look like, well, they're currently in salary cap hell. If you take a look at their cap hits, you have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Shaq Barrett, Carlton Davis. I don't know why you're paying Donovan Smith that much money. You have Vita Vea, Ryan Jensen, Russell Gage, Devin White, and clearly they're in salary cap hell. They currently have the 31st worst salary cap situation in the entire NFL by being negative $55 million underneath the salary cap. What's likely to happen is they're going to try to trade their best players for assets, at least that's what I'm assuming, and bottom out for one season. Mike Evans' future really depends on what Mike Evans wants. I'm sure if he demanded a trade, he would be traded, but at the same time, you could make an argument that Mike Evans is one of the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneers of all time, if not the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneer of all time, if you just look at his statistics. So I wouldn't be surprised if he stays put. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stink it up for 1 year, their salary cap situation improves significantly over the next year, and if they stink it up enough, they're going to be entering a NFL draft with tremendous quarterback talent. Players like Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Drake May, Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler are all possible possibilities in the 2024 NFL draft. But at the end of the day, I thought even if Tom Brady wasn't going to retire, it was in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' best interest to move on from him, because you had a great 3 years during the Tampa Bay era. He brought you yet another Super Bowl. It definitely changed your culture a little bit, and the league does respect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. Hopefully they don't go into another 10 to 15 years of mediocrity, but I think if they play out this season properly, they're going to be okay. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about Tom Brady's retirement? I personally wanted to thank Tom Brady for the incredible career he's had. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.